Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an informative lesson on how to reach your maximum potential. We are starting a trip today to find out what amazing skills we all have inside us and how to use them to achieve unmatched success and happiness. For a moment, imagine that you have a lot of untapped talent that is just waiting to be used. We all have unique strengths, skills, and gifts that, when used to their full potential, can help us reach our biggest goals. To reach this potential, we need to understand and use certain principles and tactics that help us grow as people and as professionals. Come with me as we explore the main ideas and doable steps that will help you reach your full potential. We will talk about ways to set and reach big goals, develop a growth attitude, and use your strengths to get through tough situations. If you follow these rules, you will be able to break through barriers and reach new levels of success. Here you are at a life-changing event where you will learn how to reach your full potential and start the journey to achieving your biggest goals. You have arrived in this world with more talents and abilities than you can use. Even if you lived 100 lifetimes, you wouldn't exhaust your potential. Your brain has 100 billion cells, each connected to 20,000 other neurons. The possible combinations and permutations of ideas, thoughts, and perceptions you can generate are equivalent to a number followed by 8 pages of zeros. This means that what you have achieved in your life so far is only a small fraction of what you are truly capable of achieving. Psychologist Abraham Maslow wrote, "The story of the human race is the story of men and women selling themselves short." An average person settles for much less than they are capable of achieving. Compared to what you could do, everything you have achieved so far is just a small part of what you could do. The problem is that you come into the world with an incredible brain, surrounded by infinite possibilities for success and happiness. However, you don't have an instruction manual. Therefore, you have to invent it. Most people don't do this. They go through life doing the best they can, but they never get close to what they could achieve, have, or be. I started life with few advantages. My father didn't always have a job, and my family seemed to never have money. I started working and paying for my clothes and expenses when I was 10 years old, doing odd jobs around my neighborhood. I mowed lawns, delivered newspapers, tended gardens, and swept leaves. Later, I found a job as a dishwasher in a small hotel. My first promotion was from washing pots to washing pans. I dropped out of high school and worked as a laborer for several years. I worked in sawmills stacking wood, in forests cutting brush with a chainsaw. I dug ditches and wells. I worked on farms and ranches, in factories and on construction sites. For a time, I worked in the kitchens of a Norwegian freighter in the Atlantic. I earned my living by the sweat of my brow. When I couldn't find laborer jobs anymore, I got a commission sales job going door to door and office to office. For a long time, I was one sale away from being on the street. If I didn't make a sale that day and get paid the commission immediately to pay for my room in a boarding house, I would end up on the street. It was not the best way to live. 2, the key to success. One day I began to see why some people are more successful than others. Specifically, why some salespeople are more successful than others. Seeking an answer to this question, I did something that changed my life and started a habit that would profoundly affect my future. I asked the most successful salesperson in my company what he did differently from me, and he told me. Then I started doing what he had told me, and my sales increased. The Bible says, "Ask, and you shall receive." I soon developed the habit of asking everyone, in every possible way, the answers I needed to advance quickly. I started reading books on sales and applying everything I learned. I listened to audio programs while walking or commuting, attended every sales seminar I could, and constantly asked for advice from successful salespeople. I developed the habit of immediately putting into practice any advice or idea given to me or that I learned. As a result, and unsurprisingly, I started selling more and more and eventually outsold all the salespeople in my company. Soon, I was promoted to sales manager and tasked with hiring and teaching other salespeople the same techniques that had helped me prosper. I started hiring salespeople by placing ads in newspapers, teaching them the sales methods and techniques I had learned, and sending them to visit clients or potential clients. In a very short time, my students began closing sales and advancing in their own lives. Many of these young salespeople are now millionaires. 3, the golden rule of the universe. What I learned from that experience is the fundamental law of cause and effect. This is the foundational principle of Western philosophy and modern thinking. It states that for every cause there is an effect, that everything happens for a reason, and that nothing happens by accident. This law says that even if you don't know the reason why something happens, there is always an explanation. This is one of the most important principles of success. If you do what other successful people do, you will eventually get the same results. And if you don't, nature is not neutral. Nature does not favor one person over another. The Bible says God makes it rain on the just and the unjust. If you do the things that successful people do over and over again, you will eventually get the same results. It is not a matter of luck or chance, it is a matter of law. This was an extraordinary idea for me. Even now, I am amazed by the enormity and power of this simple principle. If you want to be happy, prosperous, healthy, popular, positive, and confident, just look at what other people who enjoy these benefits do and do the same things they do. And as surely as 2 + 2 is 4, you will get the same results. It is not a miracle. 4, everything can be learned. In every job and in every situation, I began by asking, what are the rules or principles for success in this area? Then I read books, attended courses, and asked for ideas and opinions from everyone. When I became a sales manager, I read every book and article I could find on sales management and applied the ideas and principles I learned to develop and lead a successful sales team. When I entered the real estate world, I read dozens of books on the subject. After a year, having started with no money or contacts, I developed and built a $3 million shopping center and ended up owning 25% of it. When I entered the import and distribution of Japanese cars, I again read books on the subject, talked to experts, and researched how to create a dealership network. In 4 years, I established 65 dealerships and imported and sold over 100 million in cars. Over the past 35 years in my work with more than 1,000 major companies, my focus has always been to discover the reasons for sales, revenue, and profits in each company or industry, and then determine how these principles could be best utilized to achieve the results of the most successful companies. When someone compliments me on my successes, I like to share what I have learned with them. I tell them that they can also learn everything they need to learn to achieve any goal they have set for themselves. All they need to do is figure out the cause and effect relationships in the area where their goal lies, and then apply them to their own activities. If they do this, they will soon achieve the same results as other successful people. 5, take control of your life. Many people, instead of following this advice, nod, smile, and approve of it, but then continue with their routines. They start working as late as possible, spend much of the day in superfluous conversations with colleagues, reading emails, browsing social media, and working on personal matters. They leave work as early as possible and then spend their evenings socializing or watching television. In my frustration, I began to study psychology and metaphysics. I learned that there are a series of universal principles and timeless truths that explain much of human success and failure. These principles explain happiness and unhappiness, wealth and poverty, health and illness, good and bad relationships. They explain why some people have wonderful lives and others do not. 6, the law of control. The first law I discovered was the law of control. This law states that you feel happy to the extent that you feel you are in control of your own life. You feel unhappy to the extent that you feel you are not in control of your own life. Modern psychology calls this the locus of control theory. Psychologists differentiate between the internal locus of control and the external locus of control. Your locus of control is where you feel control exists in every area of your life, and this place determines your happiness or unhappiness more than any other factor. For example, if you feel that you are the main creative force in your own life, that you make your own decisions, and that everything that happens to you is a consequence of yourself and your own behaviors, you have a strong internal locus of control. Consequently, you feel strong, confident, and happy, think more clearly, and perform better than average people. On the other hand, if you feel that your life is controlled by other factors and other people, your job, your boss, your childhood experiences, your bills, your health, your family, or anything else, you will have an external locus of control. You will feel like a victim, like a puppet in the hands of fate. You will soon develop what Dr. Martin Seligman from the University of Pennsylvania calls learned helplessness. You will feel that you are unable to change or improve your situation and will soon develop the habit of blaming others and making excuses for your problems. This type of thinking will inevitably lead you to anger, frustration, and failure. 7, the power of beliefs. The next law I discovered was the law of beliefs. This is the basic principle on which most religions, psychological, philosophical, and metaphysical systems are based. This law states that everything you believe with conviction becomes your reality. Professor William James of Harvard wrote in 1895, "Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. The fact is that you do not believe what you see, but you see what you already believe." Your deeply rooted beliefs distort your view of the world and make you see things not as they are, but as you are. The worst beliefs are the limiting beliefs. They are beliefs you have developed throughout your life, usually false, that make you believe you are limited in some way. Your negative beliefs soon become habitual ways of thinking. You might believe that you are not intelligent or creative, that you have no personality, or that you lack the ability to speak in public, earn a high salary, lose weight, or achieve your goals. Because of these limiting beliefs, you continuously undervalue yourself, easily abandon your goals, and even worse, tell people around you that you lack certain qualities or abilities. Your beliefs then become your realities. You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. To develop millionaire habits, one of the most important steps you can take is to challenge these limiting beliefs. Start this process by imagining that you have no limitations. When you develop your mind to the point where you believe you can do anything you set your mind to, you will find a way to make this belief a reality, and consequently, your entire life will change. Everything that can be learned can be unlearned. 8. Self-fulfilling prophecies. The next law I discovered was the law of expectations. This law states that anything you expect with confidence becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, you do not necessarily get what you want, but what you expect. If you confidently expect something to happen, this expectation has a powerful effect on your attitude and personality. The more you trust your expectations, the more likely you are to do and say the things that are consistent with what you expect to happen. Consequently, the chances of getting exactly what you are expecting increase dramatically. A wonderful characteristic of expectations is that you can create them yourself. You can wake up every morning and say, something wonderful is going to happen to me today. If you keep repeating this throughout the day, you will be creating a force field of positive energy that will surround you and affect the people you interact with. And in this way, without realizing it, wonderful things will start happening to you, whether important or not so important. Successful people expect to be successful. Happy people expect to be happy. People who are popular expect to be liked. They develop the habit of expecting something good to happen in every situation. They expect to benefit from every event, even temporary setbacks and failures. They expect the best from others and always see good intentions. They are almost never disappointed. The flip side of positive expectations is the negative expectations many people have. Unhappy people expect to have more failures than successes. They expect others to hurt or disappoint them. They expect their businesses to perform poorly. Instead of expecting the best, they expect the worst. And because this law is neutral, they are rarely disappointed. One of the most important things you can do to ensure a happy, healthy, and prosperous life is to expect the best from every person or situation, regardless of how it appears at the moment. Develop the habit of positive expectations. You will be surprised at the effect this habit has on you and the people around you. 9. You are a living magnet. The next law I learned was the law of attraction. This law states that you are a living magnet. You always attract into your life the people, ideas, and circumstances that harmonize with your dominant thoughts. This law has been written and taught for 5,000 years. It is one of the most important principles for explaining success and failure. The law of attraction states that your thoughts are activated by your emotions, both positive and negative, creating an energy force field around you that attracts into your life like iron filings to a magnet, people and circumstances that are in harmony with those thoughts. Like all these laws, the law of attraction is neutral. If you have positive thoughts, you will attract positive people and situations. If you have negative thoughts, you will attract negative people and situations. Successful and happy people constantly think and talk about what they want to attract into their lives. Unsuccessful and unhappy people always talk about situations and people that make them angry and frustrated. One of the most important habits you should develop is the habit of always having exciting, positive, and thrilling images in your mind of the things you want to bring into reality in your life and the world around you. This is one of the most challenging disciplines, but has extraordinary benefits. 10. As within, so without. The summary of the laws we have discussed is the law of correspondence. This law states that what is outside is a projection of what is inside. It is as if you live in a 360-degree mirror. Wherever you look, you see a reflection of yourself. People treat you the same way you treat them. What you think about your physical appearance is reflected in your health habits and appearance. What you think about people and your relationships will be reflected in the quality of your friendships and family life. What you think about success and prosperity will be reflected in the results of your career and material life. In any case, your outer world reflects you as an image in a mirror, just as you think in the deepest parts of your mind. When you put together the laws of cause and effect, control, belief, expectations, attraction, and correspondence, you arrive at the great universal principle that explains your life and everything that happens to you. You become what you think about most of the time. Just think about what you think about most of the time. What you think will be what you manifest. You always move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. Everything that happens in your outer world is controlled and determined by what you are thinking in your inner world. The good news is that there is only one thing in the universe over which you have total control, and that is the content of your conscious mind. Only you can decide what to think most of the time. And fortunately, this is all the control you need to shape your life and determine your future. By taking total control of your conscious thoughts, you will control the direction of your life. And by taking control, you will feel happy, powerful, confident, and free. No one can stop you. You can do anything you think you can do. This certainty is literally a divine gift because with it, you can solve all human problems. It will make you an incurable optimist. It opens the door to well-being. As we come to the end of our discussion, keep in mind that the path to realizing your greatest potential is a fulfilling one that requires constant effort. The concepts and tactics we've covered today constitute a roadmap for attaining tremendous fulfillment and success, not just a set of tools. By utilizing your special talents, developing a growth mindset, and setting high-impact goals, you put yourself in a position to overcome obstacles and achieve new heights of success. If you approach these exercises with a steadfast dedication and passion, you will be able to realize the amazing potential that is inside of you. I appreciate you traveling with me on this life-changing adventure. Let the knowledge and techniques you've received today guide you toward achieving both professional and personal greatness as you go forward. Your life can change in amazing ways if you take the confidence to realize your maximum potential and act decisively. Until we cross paths again, never forget that you have the ability to realize your full potential. Accept the journey, put what you've learned into practice, and allow your commitment and tenacity take you toward a future full of boundless opportunities and significant achievement.